How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Living the dream. Living the dream. Yeah.
God damn!
You want to hear my goddamn?
Same. So I'm just faking it. Yes, go ahead. I want to hear your goddamn.
My goddamn is that I cleared off my whole balcony area because
Yes.
I have been I have time now, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
Quit my job.
Get to work at projects on your house.
Yeah,
Shit
get
that
to
has been bothering you forever.
do
you
my
get to
own
do.
stuff. Exactly. So I cleared off my balcony and I have a whole little sitting area and stuff now. And I have adopted a new friend.
Who is it? Is it a squirrel?
No.
Is it a crow?
No, I wish.
Have you been feeding them?
It is a spider, and he is an orb weaver. And
Hold on. No.
Yep, go
Pause,
on.
pause. You guys. I have... Listen, first
Okay.
of all, before I go off on you, I need you to know... Is that a bomb?
It might be. I don't know.
I think Hell's Angels are... Is that...
Oh,
no, those are the
Blue
motorcycles.
The Hells Angels of the skies.
They're in the skies. I think they're doing... There's an air show or something.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's this weekend, so they're practicing. Is that a bomb? I'm all,
It sounded like it. You guys, I don't know if you could hear it, but it was like...
Yeah.
Like how it sounds on TV. So sorry for any airplane noises.
Yeah.
But, because we cannot... Today is not the day to try to control any of it. And they're going to be loud as fuck, because they
There's
are like
air
military
traffic.
grade. Yeah, there's air traffic.
Where were we?
I was going to tell you that before I rip into you,
Oh, yeah.
that I am so genuinely happy for this journey, and I love it, and I can't wait to meet your orb weaver. But
Yes.
the amount of fucking shittery that I collected from you and Nora when I was in this era of my life of collecting friends that are spiders named Maxwell in my home to catch,
Bitch, I
which
named
wouldn't have
him.
been moths, which should have been moths.
Should have been. I
In
told you to
retrospect.
keep him.
But you didn't at first.
I
I
named him for you.
had to level set some expectations, because at first you both were like, Stacey, this is absolutely unacceptable, and I have some concerns.
To be fair, he had a McMansion in your house.
Yeah, he died, so I tore down his McMansion, and it was inside my house. So I see your points, but continue.
And so it's outside. Mine is outside, and he sits so perfect. There's little sticks. There's an old planter thing that I had moved, not knowing anything about, when I was clearing off the deck, and pushed it into the back and whatever. And then I sat out there. Now I get to sit out there with my coffee, and I fucking enjoy myself every morning.
Isn't that the best?
It's so great. Anyway, his name is Cornelius, and he's my friend now, and
Aw,
he sits
Corny.
like a big X. It's either Cornelius or Xander or Xavier, because he sits like a big X.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sold on the name, but Cornelius was the first one.
Does it fit his personality?
He doesn't do a lot. He just
Okay.
sits there. I have not successfully fed him yet. I've been trying to catch something.
Yeah, to fling a fly at it or something. Girl, I probably got some moths.
Could take some home.
Just kidding. I got rid of so many moths, guys.
Oh, good.
That should have been my goddamn.
Yeah, well, give me yours then.
My goddamn is that literally right before we started recording, I got a phone call from my son's nurse's office
Womp
that he was, and by the way, like the last year and a half or something, there was an issue with him going to the nurse quite often. And
They really become friends with the nurses.
yeah.
They're like, she's got lollipops and
I know.
late slips.
I
We're
know
cool.
the nurse
Me and Barbie.
by name.
Yeah.
Like we're on a first name basis, but this time was a different nurse. I'm like, oh, did we get a new one this year? But anyway, the guy, he doesn't know my fucking kid's shenanigans yet, but also I don't either, because it was a new one.
The nurse is a man?
The nurse is a man, and the guy was like, so your son was at lunch, and he got shoved into the lunch table, and he hit his side pretty bad, and he's been with me for a while, and he's still, like, saying it hurts so bad, like he wants to go home, and he's like, do you want to talk to him? But by the way, the nurse did not tell me where he got hurt, just that he got shoved, and that he had been in the office for a while, and they were putting ice on it, but it was still hurting him.
Like
And-
where on his body?
Yeah, and before I could ask what happened, he was like, do you want to talk to him? And I was like, sure.
Yeah, like I guess.
Yeah, okay, let's do this. And so talking to my kid, you know when you were a kid and like I remember at 6th grade camp, they wouldn't let us call our parents because it would make you homesick, like if you hear their voice. And they had let one of my friends call their mom, and she was crying the rest of the night. And that was like one of those moments I had learned, like, oh, when you hear a comforting voice and you can't get to it, sometimes that'll make you cry or whatever. It'll make you emotional, because I could understand that, whatever. Anyway, I feel like I heard it in my kid's voice. Like, I was like, baby, are you doing okay? And he sounded so sad. And he's like, it hurts really bad. And then he just started crying. And I was like, all right, well, I don't care if you're faking it or not. I'm going to come get you. That's my boy. And somebody shoved him. I'm going to have to kill somebody.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And so I got down there. Spoiler alert. I think he's fine. It looks like, I mean,
He got hit.
Yeah, he hurts. It
Yeah.
sucks, but he would have been okay if I would have forced him to go. But I'm glad he's home, whatever. I told him as we were pulling in, I was like, dude, when your dad gets home, I don't want to see you jumping all over this motherfucking house because he's going to think I'm a goddamn liar picking you up. You were really selling those tears back there. I didn't say the sell the tears part, but like, just don't be jumping around. And he's like, okay, it really hurts. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So he's sitting in there with ice right now. But all of that just to be like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? I think because he was telling me that when I went to go pick him up, the nurse was like, the lunch aide said that he actually hit the table pretty hard. Like, he's not faking it.
Yeah.
And I was like, holding back my tongue of like, okay, well, I'm going to have to kill you guys now. Like, who shoved my kid that hard? And why is there somebody shoving my kid that hard?
Yeah, what happened to the other kid?
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, kind of just staying, like, I don't want to confront anybody. And also, I got to get back to fucking work at home. Like, come on, kid, we're going to rock. So go pick him up. And he was saying that there was a kid that wanted to get to the front of the lunch line. So he fucking booked it and shoved into him and like checked him. And then he hit the table and then fell on the ground.
Oh my God.
But also my kid can come like elaborate. So who knows? I don't really know. But if that part's true, because then I was like, did the kid get in trouble? And my kid was really upset. Like, no, he didn't. The lunch aide didn't even get him in trouble. And I'm like, see, that's the part where I want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I get accidents happen, but it would have been nice to be like,
a little reprimand.
but don't worry.
Yeah.
We talked to the kid. Like, we're not going to tolerate that. Which I'm sure usually the schools around here are pretty good, but like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to teach my kid to fucking check a kid back, and I don't give a flying fuck, because evidently nothing happens if you shove kids at school.
No, my kid last year, he hasn't been to the principal's office this year yet. He was very proud of that. He's only
It's been like 2 weeks. He's all proud.
Literally, he's been in school for like a month, and he's like, I haven't even been to the principal's office this year. And I was like, I don't think I was ever there, like maybe once in my life. And he's like, I know her first name,
I love it.
But last
These
year,
fucking airplanes.
yeah, they're all over.
Tripping me out.
Last year, he had gotten punched in the face or something. He had gotten punched by another kid, and I was like up in arms, and we were, like at the principal's office, and I was all these things.
What are we
and I was
doing?
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
But it turns out it was his best friend.
Is that happened? Wait, I told you this story that my kid's best friend punched him in the dick.
Yeah, I remember that.
At school. And then I got a call from the mom later.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry. What happened? And I was so embarrassed because I had to be like, listen, girl, I get it. It was an accident.
Yeah.
He wasn't aiming for his dick. And my kid reported it because his
He was
private
told.
got touched. Yeah. And she was like, oh. And I was like, I'm so, like, was that too much? I don't know how to parent. I would die if I were a parent in the 90s because I would have been like, fucking toughen up.
He's gonna be fine.
But here I'm like, you know what? But I really kind of want him to continue to report if anybody else punches him in the dick. So I'm sorry that your kid got in trouble, but maybe tell him to watch out for dicks.
Punch above the belt.
Yeah. Like, teach that one.
Yeah.
I'll teach this one.
Yeah.
And she was so cool about it, but still.
That's
it's
so
like,
funny.
You get all upset, and then you're like, oh.
It was
dumb.
It was
fucking
children.
Dumb.
Got
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Now I remember.
I'm there. Just hard not to get all fucking mama bear.
Yeah. Like when you see it, when it's actually happening, and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's all just limbs and legs. And then you hear about it
There's
after, and you're like,
nothing they can do.
yeah, exactly.
No
Like,
wonder somebody got punched in the dick.
right.
Oh, God.
Okay, anyway.
All right. Do you want to hear about murder this week?
Sure do.
Out in the streets, they call it murder. All right. Well, I have a doozy for you. Actually, this is a very relevant case to the true crime community at this time.
Oh, look at you.
And I found it on TikTok.
Oh, fun.
Because it was all over my TikTok because the trial's happening. Actually, it just finished, so I'll be telling you all about that, but it was all over. So it's an interesting one.
Ooh, okay. Let's hear it.
This week, I'm going to tell you about Carly Gregg.
Okay. The name does not sound familiar. I do not think it's on my TikTok yet.
Good. It might be, and you might not recognize the name because I feel like it's being sold not with her name. You know, it's more like a event that I'm about to tell you about. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, Carly Gregg was born in 2009 in Brandon, Mississippi, to her mother, Ashley Gregg, and her father, Kevin Gregg.
Okay.
Not much is known about Carly's biological father, Kevin, in terms of like how present he was and everything in their lives. But it sounds like Kevin and the mother, Ashley, married in 2005, and they stayed together for some years after Carly was born, because she was born in 2009. So they were together for 4 years, have a baby girl, and they stay together for a while, but they eventually get a divorce. And the rumor mill is that Kevin wasn't like the greatest influence as a dad.
Okay.
Kevin had developed a drug habit.
Mm.
I'm not sure what kind of drugs, but he openly admits that he did have a drug habit or whatever. And I'm going to guess that that made him do some shady shit, and that's why Ashley left.
Gotcha.
Pure speculation on my part.
It's just not a good scene to be around.
No, and you don't want that raising your kid. So, it should also be noted that Kevin suffered from bipolar disorder and is rumored to have possible schizophrenia traits or something. Like, I don't think it's ever been confirmed that he had schizophrenia, but there was, like, concern about Carly perhaps inheriting his mental health issues.
Okay.
So, like I said, that last little bit is kind of the rumor mill again, and it's not confirmed.
Okay.
But what is confirmed is that Ashley was afraid of her ex for one reason or another, and she would keep a .357 Magnum pistol under her pillow or in her nightstand or in her room for protection against him. Like, she was afraid he was going to come after her for one reason or another. Okay. Or at some point in her life, she was afraid of him and got this gun and kept it for safety.
Gotcha.
Anyway, eventually...
That was the mom, right?
That's the mom, Ashley, yeah. So the mom, Ashley, eventually goes on to remarry a man by the name of Heath Smiley, and Ashley takes on his last name. So now she's Ashley Smiley, but Carly, her daughter, keeps her father's last name of Gregg.
Okay.
By all accounts, it seemed that when Heath joined the family picture, he treated Carly like his own daughter. Like, they were a pretty tight-knit family. There was nothing, like, they weren't arguing all the time. It wasn't like he was an abusive stepfather or anything like that, from what I can tell.
Okay.
Like, he was doing all the right things. He was described as a family man who worked hard to support his family, so nice guy, right?
Yeah.
As Carly grew up, she excelled in school, and she was known as a very intelligent student. However, she suffered from significant mental health issues from a young age, like depression, and she reported auditory hallucinations from like the age of 5 to 6.
Wow.
She would always say there was like a male voice talking to her.
Oh, hate that.
I know, and I guess this would come and go.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Right. So I think that's where the concern of like, you know, possibly inheriting these kind of traits, whatever.
You know, baby girl told me she heard voices telling her stuff the other day, and I was like, is it your voice? And I was trying to get that out of her. Like, is it just her like, inner monologue or whatever?
Yeah.
And she couldn't answer that. She said it's not
Girl,
her voice,
she's
so.
fucking talking to ghosts.
She
I
might be.
believe it. I need to talk to her.
You should.
So I read something actually in relation to this case that people in the U.S. or specifically in the U.S., this was related to the U.S., who experience auditory hallucinations, majority of the time it's negative reports saying that they're disparaging messages, telling them they need to kill everybody or kill themselves or whatever. But outside of the U.S., in other, like, less developed countries or whatever, and I don't know if this means, like, literal, like, fucking tribes that have not been integrated into our society or if it just means other countries, but people with auditory hallucinations, it's not viewed as a negative, and those messages to those people are kinder. It's just like having a best friend in your head, and everybody is like, that's cool, fine. So, like, how much of it is because the stigma the culture puts on it? Or our culture ourselves, what's that say about our mental health here?
Yeah,
you know? Like, that's interesting,
That the
right?
default is negative.
Yeah, I didn't collect any sources on any of that information, so, you know.
It's probably from a TikTok
So who knows?
article.
But that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she had been struggling with hearing a male voice talking to her since she was young.
Yeah, that's scary.
I know.
Was she on medications for it?
Like, she gets on it eventually.
Okay.
So Carly's relationship with her mother, Ashley, was strained as Carly entered into her teenage years, probably because of all of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
And by the time that Carly had reached high school, so legitimately like 2023, 2024, so we're talking like this year.
Oh, wow.
She's only 14.
Okay.
Okay, so Carly's 14. By the time she reaches high school, she started rebelling, and she had been caught cheating in class. I guess she was, like, taking a picture of the teacher's cheat sheet or something, you know? Or, like, answer sheet.
Well, don't leave it
Which,
out.
I mean, like, who hasn't?
I mean, if we used to have to steal it. Because
Yeah.
you didn't have a camera phone.
100%. And then handwrite it and copy it.
Yeah. And
Unless
we
you
all
take it
had
to the
one.
library. Get that copy machine. Okay. So she starts rebelling. She gets caught cheating. And Carly had begun to experiment with marijuana at 14. I realize people do that all the time, but, you know,
Right.
it's just crazy.
I think that was the first time I tried it, right?
At 14?
Yeah, freshman year.
Oh, definitely not me. I was such a good kid.
I tried it once.
As I say that and think about all the things I did in high school that I lied to my parents about.
We're such a good kid. Such a good kid.
Anyway, so she's experimenting with marijuana.
Okay, good for her.
But she also has a history of self-harm.
Yikes. Not
Again, I'm just like, what high school kid didn't experiment with all of those things that you're talking about?
Especially high school girl. Yeah.
Right? So she had bought her own... Carly had bought her own side burner phone, and they all called it a burner phone, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and speculate that she probably just bought her own pay to text or pay to play phone kind of thing because she didn't want her parents tracking everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Or she was texting, they were reading or paying attention, whatever.
She was like, I want privacy.
Yeah.
Right? Which, I mean, lucky us, that's all they had when we were that age. It was like either you got on the plan to where you weren't allowed to use it, it was only for emergencies, or you bought yourself your $20 for the week and you loaded your phone.
I don't have any more text messages, but you can send them.
Yeah, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
I'll read it and meet you there, but I can't answer you. Or I'll call you back on the house phone.
Right.
And I'm guessing that's what she would use to also buy weed with.
Okay.
Because it's being explained as a burner phone.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, she's doing nefarious things on there that she's not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, she got her Virgin Mobile fucking...
Right. Her Sprint.
Yeah.
Flip phone.
What is it, Metro PCS?
I don't even know
I don't know what it is now. Whatever the one is now.
So Ashley and Heath, they took note of Carly's declining mental health. And they had her go see a therapist on a regular cadence, right? Like, she's a teenager. They don't know about the marijuana use or anything, but they notice that her grades are slipping. She's rebelling. They're having conflict in the house that wasn't there before. They're worried about her mental health. Her biological father has all these patterns. So they're like, we're just going to get you to a therapist.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So she
Proactive.
goes. Right, exactly. They're being very proactive, very attentive parents.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes and sees a therapist on a regular cadence. That therapist prescribes her Zoloft to treat her for her anxiety and depression or whatever.
Okay.
But Carly had started to complain that the Zoloft was making her feel like a zombie. Mm-hmm. So her therapist changed her medication to Lexapro.
Okay.
Which, fun fact, is what I'm on. So all of this medication switch up that happens... Mm-hmm. takes place a week before the event I'm about to explain to you.
Uh-oh.
And I don't know if you know anything about... I don't know anything about Zoloft, but I do know about Lexapro, and I think it's called like an SSRI or something. It has something to do with like it fucks with literal chemicals in your brain, like the serotonin levels in your brain, so that you can feel happier or whatever, so you're less depressed. But what happens over time is your body becomes dependent on it and it stops producing it on its own. So anytime you come off of this kind of medication, it has to be closely monitored and weaned, especially if you've been on it for a long time, because there's all these crazy side effects. And literally one of the side effects of the medicine is like depression, self-harm, suicide. Like it's all the things that you're treating the medicine with, but as you come off of it, it's like it can come back way worse than it ever was before. So when I got put on the Lexapro, it was like so many warnings, and since I've been on it, I've heard so many podcasts and shit about how bad it is and how hard it is to come off of it. If anybody's taking it, don't let it scare you. We gotta do what we gotta do, right? But it's like just being educated about it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, and I don't think a lot of people know about it.
Yeah.
Especially a 14-year-old girl.
Right.
So March 19th, 2024, this year, which was a Tuesday, fun fact.
Okay.
It started out like any other Tuesday, where Heath left for his job in the morning, and Ashley and Carly got ready to head to school together.
Okay.
Now, Carly attended the same school that Ashley worked at as a math teacher. So her mom is a math teacher at the high school, and Carly attends there.
Okay.
And the school was called Northwest Rankin High School.
Okay.
Just a fun fact. The school day went by uneventful. I think there was like reports that Carly was like irritable that day, but again, like fucking 14-year-old high school girl who isn't, you know? Around 3-ish, Carly and her mom Ashley come home, as they always did. But evidently, tensions were a bit high that afternoon because one of Carly's friends had just confronted her mother and told her mom that Carly was smoking the marijuana and was worried about her, was getting concerned because she's like doing it too much, didn't like the way Carly was going. So she goes and rats Carly out to her mom.
Oh, no. Well, that's rough. All your friends have access to your mom and have some kind of relationship with her because she was her math teacher.
Right?
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. So
Good for the friend for saying something,
Yeah.
see something, say something, speak up. She was concerned.
Right,
Or
right,
the
right.
friend was
And Carly
concerned.
was 14.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it was like not just in the bleachers one time out of a water bottle. It was like she had a phone to procure more, and
Yeah.
she had stashes.
She
and
had
she's
a little
14.
routine going.
Like
yeah.
it's going down a bad path,
yeah.
right?
And at 14, you don't need it. Like,
Right.
That's not.
I think,
the time.
I don't understand this, but like the legal age is 18 or whatever, because they say that at 18 your brain is done developing, so it's not going to fuck with it. So if you smoke before 18, it fucks with your brain development, like on a regular cadence. I don't know how true any of that is, by the way. Just
I've
what
heard that
they
too, though.
say.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how the fuck do you know at 18 you're done? Like, what if it's not different for everybody?
I thought your brain didn't stop until you were like 24, 25.
That's what I thought
26.
too. But I guess at 18 they're like, well, the
Fuck
part the weed touches. I don't know.
The part that makes you work every day for
Yeah.
a job, that part won't be affected. So,
Your ethics.
yeah. So you can go ahead and do whatever you want with the rest of it.
Oh, God. Okay, so Carly's mom, Ashley, now knows about Carly's drug use, and she's confronting Carly on this day. Okay?
Okay.
So Ashley was obviously upset and confronts Carly, and it's unclear if there was an argument or what, but what we do know is that Ashley went into Carly's room and started rummaging through her belongings to search for, and I think she found a stash of vape pens, like marijuana vape pens,
Ooh.
and the burner phone.
Bum, 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 bum.
Obviously, Carly didn't take kindly to this, and so she darted to her mom's room. She reached into either the nightstand or under the mattress and grabbed that stash 357 Magnum. She went back into her room where Ashley was still standing, and she proceeded to shoot her mom in the face 3 motherfucking times.
Holy shit.
First of all, I don't think I could hit anybody in the face with a bullet if I, especially at the age of 14. I don't know how close she was.
I mean, you could.
You think so?
You could. And she's probably pretty close.
You have a lot of confidence.
You're in the
I
same
don't know
room.
how accurate Nerf darts are.
I feel like it's a pretty good description or a pretty good comparison.
I feel like I would aim and then I would still just graze the hair. It would go all around. I'd be like, I don't fucking get it.
She's a shield. I don't know.
Now I'm in more trouble.
No, you wouldn't be.
She'd be like, thank God you suck.
Yeah.
Shooting.
Yeah.
I don't know how close it was, but she successfully shot her mom in the head 3 times.
Oh my God, that's awful.
It's fucking terrible. What's crazier is that the family had a security camera set up in the kitchen.
I saw that part.
You
This is the only part. So
did.
I got to there and I remember this part. That's the only thing I've seen is her walk from the kitchen out here and the dogs are following her or whatever. And then you hear, I guess something. I didn't really hear it, but 3 shots.
If you listen, you hear her being screaming, Carly, stop, or something. I don't know what she's saying.
I did
but
hear her
she's-
yell something.
She made it through the first shot. Yeah. There was that security camera. It was set up in the kitchen, and I'm sure it'll be on our social media, and you guys can find it anywhere you go if you Google her name or whatever. But the way it's set up, from what I understand, imagine the camera being on the corner of the kitchen, and it's looking out towards everything, including the doorway that leads to the living room. And then to the right of the living room that you can see from the perspective of the camera is Carly's room, and to the left is the mom's room.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see Carly in the frame. At first, she lets the dogs in or something, and she kind of looks like she doesn't know what she's gonna do. At this point, her mom's in her room, and she kind of looks around, paces around, goes back and forth, she doesn't know what she's gonna do, and then she goes into the room and then comes back to her mom. You hear the shooting or whatever. She goes and gets the gun. You hear the shooting, and then she comes back into frame with her hands behind her back, and she has the gun in her hands still, and she kind of scoots she's hiding the gun from the camera. She knows the camera's on.
Yeah.
And she scoots to a bar stool that's at a breakfast nook or whatever, and she sets the gun down behind her on the stool. So it's still out of frame, but then she pulls her hand out so her hand is free. And then she picks up her mom's cell phone and she proceeds to text Heath as if she were her mom, saying, "What time are you coming home, sweetie?"
Right. Oh my God.
Right. Also, side note, when you're watching this, as the gunshots go off and she comes back into frame, the dogs are like dancing around her anxious. Like they're obvious. I don't think they know that their owner just got shot in the head. I think they're like, what the fuck was that loud noise? Hi, owner. What's going on? What's going on? Like they look anxious.
Yeah.
But they're not like jumping on her or anything. They just kind of look like how my dog looks when I come home and they haven't seen me in a hot minute.
Just running around.
Yeah, but it's so sad. And they're like, it's like a golden retriever or something. I don't know if they're both golden retrievers.
I think so, yeah.
It's just like, they're the nicest dogs ever, too.
Yeah.
Why you gonna do that? Anyway.
That's so
sad. Heath never answered the text that she sent saying, like, what time are you going to be home, sweetie, as if being Ashley or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it also was around the same time that he would normally be coming home.
Okay.
I think the shooting happened around 4 and he came home at 5. Or, like, it was an hour gap. But he was probably driving or getting out of the office or whatever the fuck he's doing. So he doesn't reply. But he comes home at his normal time. Yeah. Well, while she's waiting, she calls a friend up and she's like, hey, I need you to come over. Like, I need you to come hang out. I don't know if there's any reason given why I need you to come over, but the friend comes over and when she answers the door, Carly asks the friend, are you squeamish around dead bodies? Which if I answered the door and you were like, are you squeamish around dead bodies? And I were 14, I'd immediately be like, nah. Like, but I don't know. I'm 14.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that an answer? I don't know. Let's see, I guess. Have to find out.
My dumb ass would have been like, nah, I'm not afraid. Let me get a stick and I'd poke it. Yeah. Not realizing the like
that it's actual
of everything. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I probably would have done the same thing. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Like I'm so cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know how any of this goes down, but it is fucking bizarre because the friend comes in and Carly leads her to her mom who's shot in the face on the floor. And they hang out in the house for an hour waiting for Keith to come home. And Carly still has the gun. And
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, I don't know if the friend knew what Carly's plan was, but Carly hears Heath pull into the garage, and so she positions herself in the kitchen near the garage door, like to enter into the house. Mm-hmm. But evidently the security footage didn't capture this one. I don't know why. I don't know where the door is. I didn't go back and look at the footage or anything. I didn't try to map it out. But for whatever reason, it's not on camera. But the moment he opens the door, he gets it 4 to 5 inches open, and Carly starts unloading the gun on him. And she got off one blast, and he saw the gun blast in his face, and he immediately grabbed the gun from Carly, like the gun's still in her hand, but he like pointed it away, and he's able to pull it from her. But she gets 2 more shots off. He gets shot, but only in the shoulder.
Holy shit!
And he said that she did not look like herself at all. Like she was screaming, she was crazy. He says he doesn't think that she recognized him. Like that was not Carly, that was somebody else. He was like blown away. He gets the gun from her. Carly and the friend take off out the back door. They hop the fence and they're off into the day. They're gone.
What the fuck? This friend. What?
I don't know. What a ride or die, though.
Honestly.
So
I mean, there's a point, though. If you show up at the house and you're like, yeah, whatever, dead bodies don't scare me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, fuck, this is actually
How do I get
real.
home? I gotta pee. I gotta poop.
How do I get out of this situation? Yeah. And then and only an hour goes by. Like, that's a lot of time. But for a teenage girl time, that's not that much time. You're like, how do I get out of this without sounding rude? Or like I'm not on her side. Or getting shot, you know?
Or like, did she know you were going to shoot Heath?
Yeah. Or that.
I don't know. I have no idea.
And then when she runs, you're like, oh, fuck, well, I wasn't part of this. Now I don't want to be here with this guy who was just shot at, you know?
Yeah, and book it too.
Yeah.
I don't, and they're 14. Like, that's crazy. You don't know what to do in a situation like that at 14.
No.
And because they're adolescents, there's not a lot of information. Like, I don't know the person's name. I don't know anything other than Carly invited the person over, made the comment about, are you squeamish around dead bodies, showed the mom, and that this friend was with her when she left.
Jesus.
I guess Heath didn't even notice the friend. Like, he only thought
he
it was
had
Carly.
Some shit going on.
Yeah, he was busy.
Yeah.
He was busy.
So they just have to worry about, like, plugging holes in his body.
Right? So he got super lucky because he only got hit in the shoulder.
Yeah.
But he, like, runs into the house, finds his wife dead on the floor, shot in the face 3 times, and there was a towel over her face. So I'm guessing Carly threw it over her face or something.
Yeah.
But he immediately calls 911. The video footage and the 911 call can all be heard online. It's so heartbreaking. He's like losing his shit. Like, she shot her. Carly killed her mom. like she's already dead, and the 911 person's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what's happening? Anyway, so there's also police cam body footage of when the police arrive from the 911 call. So when they get there, they're banging on the door because Heath has the door locked, and he opens the door, and he's just on the ground on the front patio. Like, he's not standing. He's a mess. And I don't know if it's because he got shot or because he's so fucking heartbroken over seeing his wife.
Probably a combination
All
of
of
things.
it. The guy looks so pale, like and he's like visibly shooken, you know?
Oh my God.
And you can clearly tell he's been traumatized from this thing.
Yeah.
And the cop is trying to get all the information that he can from him to figure out where Carly is and all that stuff. So it's like basically 30 minutes of them trying to make sure he's okay, go sweeping the house to make sure Carly's not inside, like trying to get the story together, right? That's basically all the body cam footage is. Heath gets taken to the hospital, and Ashley is obviously found on the floor, and she is pronounced dead at the scene. She was only 40 years old.
Oh my God.
The police end up finding Carly the same day, and only shortly after the incident, she was just like at a park in her neighborhood with that friend. They found her, and they picked her up, and they arrested her. Like, you're going to need to come with us.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Was the friend like, can I get a ride home?
I don't know. But
Am I also arrested?
I don't know.
Can you just drop me? I'm gonna head out.
I'm going to just, I got to go. I have to poop.
I didn't see anything. Oh my God.
But remember, this just happened in March of 2024, so this year. And her trial already happened. Like, Mississippi is not fucking around.
No, apparently
they moved
not.
this shit through quick. So Carly was brought to trial, and this all happened in September of 2024. So this year, this month.
Was she tried as a minor?
No, they tried her as an adult. She was 15 by the time that, she was 14 at the time of the crime, 15 by September of this year.
Holy shit.
They tried her ass as a motherfucking adult, guys. This is insane. Okay, so.
Oh my God.
So she
Doesn't Missouri have does Missouri, Mississippi?
This is Mississippi.
Don't they have the death penalty?
I actually don't really know.
Okay, go on.
But she initially pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. In her trial, her defense team argued that she was experiencing a mental health crisis at the time of the shooting and didn't remember the incident. Dr. Andrew Clark, who is a child psychologist, testified in the trial that Carly was hearing voices which were getting worse prior to the shooting. It came out that for 4 months leading up to the shooting, Carly had been having trouble sleeping, and she would wake up at 2 a.m. every night and couldn't fall back asleep. She also was experiencing panic attacks. She felt sad and withdrawn and had difficulty managing her anger. She wrote in her journal questioning whether she was having a psychotic break or if she had schizophrenia. So there was like lots of supporting evidence to suggest that her mental health truly was not in a good place at the time that this happened.
Well, I wouldn't imagine. And then her stepdad being like, that wasn't fucking her.
Yeah, her stepdad was like, she was gone. Like,
You would think that person knows her well enough, has lived with her, has seen.
And by all accounts, he's like, yeah, she had her little troubles, but she was like she's the sweetest person. Like,
oh my God,
she's
that's
just had like suffering from depression or whatever,
Yeah.
So despite these issues, some healthcare professionals who treated Carly, such as Rebecca Kirk, stated that Carly never reported suicidal or homicidal ideations during their sessions. So her own therapist was like, yeah, that's cool. But she never brought that to my attention. So, like, I didn't know. Like, okay, well.
Did you ask?
Yeah, I don't know. But she's arguing, like, I didn't see all of those things that now the child psychologist or whatever is saying in the trial. Right, yeah. Like, I treated her and she never said those things. Despite Carly's argument of insanity or whatever, she did not meet the state's requirements for the insanity plea. They were like, cool. You're I guess not guilty is what your plea is, right?
Oh my God.
And so you're going to trial. And so during trial, the prosecutors maintained that Carly's actions were premeditated and that she was aware that what she was doing was wrong. On September 20th, 2024, after a 5-day trial, a Rankin County jury found Carly guilty on all counts, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and tampering with the evidence. And this only took 2 hours of deliberation for the jury to come back and give a guilty verdict.
Holy shit.
Now, before I go on, I want to explain the tampering of the evidence because I forgot to mention this. So while Carly was waiting for her stepdad to come home, for Heath to come home, she had unplugged the surveillance camera in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And she hid it in the refrigerator.
That's a spot for it.
And Heath ended up finding it later when his mom had come over and they were like helping clean out the fridge or something, and they found the camera. So that's how they got that video evidence, and he turned it over to the police. Now, at first, he tried to give it to the police, and the police tried to, like, they were after him because they didn't know the real story. Like, was it him? Was it her? What's going on?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and so they were kind of going against him. Like, you need to stop fucking with the security footage or anything. Like, don't be coming to us, we'll come to you. And he's like, no, guys, I didn't know I had it. Like, I'm genuinely trying to help. And then they see it and they're like, oh, this is actually really helpful, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the smoking gun.
But he had to, like, get through that hurdle. Like, they really thought,
Yeah, 'cause
he went out of his way to put himself as the target to be like, here's all the supporting evidence. So I really...
Well, he's the spouse and
Yeah.
he's a man, which is more, it's a violent crime. So you
Yeah,
would think
exactly,
that's, you know.
exactly, yeah.
Ugh.
So that was the tampering with the evidence because she was trying to destroy the video footage.
Okay.
She thought the
She
cold
didn't try that
temperature.
hard.
No, she thought the cold temperature would destroy the video or something like that.
Did she try the freezer?
I think it was the freezer.
Okay.
I don't really know for sure, but
But I was like, the fridge is, you're not even trying that hard.
Yeah, like that's just a cold day.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carly was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole at the age of 15.
Holy
15.
shit.
It took the jury
Life.
2 motherfucking hours. They don't give a fuck about mental health in Mississippi.
Apparently not.
Or they had a lot of evidence to suggest that she was just trying to milk the system because I didn't watch everything. You know, like, I don't really know
of
for
course.
sure. So
Of course.
this could be biased reporting. But anyway, so from my perspective, I'm like, that's fucking wild.
That is
Like,
wild. It is wild.
And because
Wait, did you say no parole?
no possibility of parole.
That's insane.
She's 15. You
That's
don't even know who you
insane.
are at 15.
I barely remember.
And it was her
15.
mom. And it was like, there were all these supporting things coming up. Like, it wasn't like she was killing cats, wet in the bed, wanting to murder people on purpose. It was like the perfect pressure cooker and things happen. It's not okay. I'm not trying to say it's okay, but life without possibility?
No. It's not okay. It's
Yeah.
obviously not okay. And it's heartbreaking that mom is now dead because of that.
God,
but it
really?
feels like it's a much bigger mental health problem.
Right. That's just being, like, glazed over.
Yeah.
Who knows, though?
Yeah. And the mom, I mean, that's just
They were
shitty
doing all the right
circumstance.
things.
Yeah, exactly. It's, oh, that's so horrible.
It is. So, what's crazy is at the beginning of the trial, they offered Carly a plea deal for 40 years in prison if she just pleaded guilty and skipped the trial or whatever. And she said no. And then she went by reason of insanity. So that to me tells me like her team and herself were like, because she claims to not remember anything. She's like, I blacked out. Like I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. Like she doesn't remember shooting her mom.
Does she remember being at the park with her friend?
I don't know.
those
They
kind of
don't
things?
clarify that. They're just
Yeah.
like, she doesn't remember the actual incident. So, I mean, who
That's,
fucking
I
knows?
mean, maybe. I don't know. Your brain is fucking crazy.
I don't remember shit. I get pissed and I black out. So
Yeah.
who knows?
That's, and it's shooting your mom in the face. That's something your brain would probably want to black out, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
And I could see the rage from the medicine, the mood swing from the medicine make you want to do that. And then if you don't have the coping skills to know how to regulate your own emotions because you're 14,
mm-hmm.
I could see you doing it and not thinking about the consequences. Because there's times I fucking wind up my fist too and I'm like, I'm going to fucking suck them.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like, ooh, I could, and it would feel really good. And I wouldn't be mad at it for a long time, but eventually I'd be upset with myself. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Eventually I'd be mad at how I acted.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I wouldn't have done that at 14. Anyway, so,
No, yeah, it's hard to talk yourself out of it when you have all your hormones and the medications hormones fucking coursing through your body and your brain and telling you whatever
Exactly.
your mental health is telling you.
right?
Ugh.
So as for Heath Smiley, he recovered, right?
That's good.
He initially had a no contact order placed against Carly, but he has since had that order lifted.
Well, it's not like she can contact him.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I guess he can. They have like apps and shit that you get to use to like like texting apps and things. I
Bitch,
don't-
what? With
I
people in
know.
prison?
Yeah, there's like a kiosk you can go put money in and shit for like the commissary, and it's like a new age of living in the prisons right now.
How much is it?
I think it's free.
They get
if you
text now? Do
murder
they get
someone.
TikTok? Oh, it's free. Taxes paid? Okay.
Okay, so he initially had a no contact order placed against her. He had it lifted. He ends up playing the crucial role as witness in her trial and everything to actually explain what happened.
Yeah.
And he explains that she really is a sweet and kind kid and clearly was just something wrong that day. So he is like acting as her father again and is heartbroken. He even pleaded with the court to go like have some mercy on her.
Oh my God.
Even though he was a victim of her crime. So just goes to show, like, I don't know, guys. I think maybe, unless she really has the wool pulled over their eyes and she's just like this evil person.
Well, she's 15.
I know. God, I feel like, geez, we really villainized her.
Yeah.
So obviously, this case serves as a reminder to the importance of addressing mental health issues in young people and in older people, like any of us.
In anyone.
Which I feel like the world is slowly trying, at least in the U.S., we're slowly paying attention to. But clearly some states don't give a flying fuck.
No.
And the consequences that come from not taking care of mental health, it's fucking awful.
That's so crazy.
But I do want to say, as a quick side note, and this is my last little side note here, that a quick Google search showed that the transitional side effects of switching between those drugs of Zoloft to Lexapro or from Lexapro to Zoloft, either which way, they have these transitional switching like side effects, and they are temporary worsening of anxiety or depression, mood swings and irritability. If the medication switch isn't managed properly, which who knows, I mean, 1 week.
Are you leaving her to do it?
Yeah.
A 14-year-old to do it on her own?
Who knows? So if it's not managed properly, then the side effects can be more serious and they can cause what's called serotonin symptom, which is a buildup of too much serotonin, which can be life-threatening. And it can also cause increase in suicidal thoughts, particularly in young adults and adolescents, and unusual changes in behavior and mood. So what do you think? Like, do you think that had a play in what I feel as somebody who takes Lexapro and I take a very small dose? I understand the like weird rages or like the way you feel if you miss a dose or something. It's not cool. Like if you're giving that to a 14-year-old, I hope that somebody is monitoring their doses, making sure they're taking it because it fucks with you. You have to be responsible.
Yeah.
It has to be that she's so bad off she needs the medicine, you know?
Yeah, you're fucking with your brain chemistry.
100%.
That's not
That's
light,
scary.
You know? Yeah.
So what do you think? Based off of what I presented to you.
Based off of everything that you've said to me, that it really seems like a mental break.
Yeah, like maybe put her in juvie till she's 18 and then let's review how she's been doing the last 4 years.
Well, didn't I just tell one about the cannibals, remember?
Yeah.
And that one kid got out on mental institute, but that was in Russia.
Yeah, or even, like you just said, put her in a mental institute. Like,
yeah.
until they say she's good.
Well,
yeah.
But 14
or old enough
years
to
old
care for herself. Or let her go back to Heath if he's willing to. I don't know.
Actually, I was wondering about that. How, because imagine that he, during the trial and everything, or before the trial when everybody is talking about how it's all going to go down in the plea deals and stuff, you know, where is she going to go? She's 14/15 years old. Who would she be in the custody of? Her dad's not in the picture and her mom is now dead. So then would she go to Heath? Would he accept her back? Like,
I don't know.
or would he just be like, you know, cut my losses, dodge the bullet, literally, I'm going to just dip, you know?
Yeah,
like,
didn't dodge it. You got it.
He dodged a couple of them, you know?
2.
Yeah. At that point, like, even if I did love her as a stepdaughter and all of those things, I might still just, like, appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna back out. Like, I don't really want to be responsible for you for the rest of your adolescence.
Right. Like, I'm good. I don't want to sleep with you in my house.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you know anything about .357 Magnums?
I know that it is a gun.
And how many bullets they can hold is what I was wondering.
Oh, probably 6 or 9.
I was thinking 6 or 9 also, but what's interesting is the mom got shot 3 times, Heath got shot 3 times, so that's 6. And when the body cam footage came or whatever, they were like, where's the weapon? And he was like, I got it from her. It's on the kitchen counter. There's only 1 bullet left in the chamber. And I'm like, that's 7. Unless maybe some got shot off and they were only talking about the ones that
like hit.
Yeah.
Because you said, how could you hit someone in the face? So maybe she shot at her mom.
But it sounded like
times.
3 shots on the camera, but I also didn't specifically count. But I was like, that's kind of a discrepancy I can't figure out. But also, maybe they checked and he was wrong. But how fuck he know there's only 1?
Well, he probably looked afterward. Was like, Jesus Christ, okay, it's still loaded. You know?
Maybe.
And, like, put it
down.
Wherever. Or they might not have had it completely loaded when they put it away, you know?
You can load it with 7, not 9.
Also, you could have 6 in the 6 in the barrel or whatever it's called, and then 1 in the chamber. Yeah, and that would be the 7th.
Oh, maybe that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Good work back there.
Boom. Probably that. I think
I mean,
that they're
They
revolvers.
fucking slept with a loaded
So then it
gun
would be
under
like-
their motherfucking pillar, which I realize is what a lot of people do.
A lot of people do.
I'm just like, and I grew up in a house like that.
yeah.
But I'm just like, Jesus, my kids they're so nosy.
Oh, yeah.
They know gun safety at least, but still, I'm just
Yeah.
like, ugh.
We have our machete under the bed. So
We
Not
should
a
put
gun.
ours there.
yeah, it's a good spot for it. Even the kids know where it is. He's like, I'd grab that. I'm like, okay.
I'd have to run outside to grab our machete.
Oh, that's too far.
It's all right. I have so many other weapons. I've shown you where some are.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up and just be like, shaking.
I'll walk by something. I'm like, Aaron, you see that screwdriver right there? Just so you know, I keep it there on purpose. You're like,
On top of this door frame?
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or you could just, get a gun or something. Anyway, so that's my fucking story. If you
Yeah.
guys want to check out pictures and all of the fucking video footage and everything I talked about, you should go check out our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. Also on Facebook, we have the Goddamn Pod group. Come join that. Requirements are to be nice, and that's it. We'll let you in.
Mm-hmm.
Come chat with us on there. Aaron and I will pop up every now and then, and we've been trying to be more present there, so you can hang out and shoot the shit with us about whatever. It doesn't have to be true crime. It could be fucking anything. We just want to hang out.
Mhm.
Also, you can email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com if you have any case suggestions, or you just want to be like, what's up, baby? And we'll be like, hey.
Wasn't this one suggested?
Was it?
I thought.
Oh, well, if it was, thanks for the suggestion, guys. Sorry, I didn't realize I picked it because I went down the rabbit hole on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
I saw that one, but I think someone had written in. I was gonna check, but I don't know where it was. It would have been an email or Instagram or something.
I'm behind. There's a couple emails that I have not replied to, and I don't think you have either.
I haven't either.
Yeah, but I see them, and I love you guys. It's just been a little crazy, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we will.
Especially once it's our full-time job.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and then finally, snail mail us at
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 9197.
9, and we love you guys. You're awesome. Continue to be great and awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for all your love.
Bye.
Bye. Don't kill anybody.